Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Zone Star State podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Ishmael Johnson. And today we are joined by the head coach of Baylor men's basketball, Scott Drew. Coach, thanks for joining us once again. I think this is year 3 or 4 of you coming on and talking with us, and we really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. Thank you for all that you guys do for college basketball.
Yeah. Obviously, last year you in 24-11 overall, 11-7 in conference, make to the second round of the tournament. A really fun team. We knew from game one, you played Auburn. An awesome game. We knew from the jump y'all had a lot of talent and a good team. But I guess overall, just what was last year like for you and for y'all as a program?
Yeah, it was a blessing, and what I mean by that is every day we came to practice, our coaching staff really enjoyed the team that we had. Great group of young men that got better. They did everything we asked them to do, and the only downside was we probably ended the season sooner than obviously we'd like. But when you play a 40-minute game, not always does the best team win. And I'm not saying that we were the best team. I'm just saying that that's why the NBA plays 4 out of 7. But you look at the total, whatever that word is, of the year. We really enjoyed the guys that we were blessed to coach. And come NBA draft night, really excited for Eve and Jacoby, both first-round picks. Unfortunately, we won't get a chance to coach them anymore at Baylor, but we'll have four guys that'll have a chance to put on an NBA jersey this year with Jalen Bridges as well, and Ray J. Dennis. So really good year during the season and postseason with them having professional opportunities.
Yeah, when it came to the year before to last year, it looked like the jump that you guys made as far as adding length, especially on the defensive end, and then continuing to add experience at the point guard position in Ray J. Dennis, and we can talk about who you added this past offseason as well. Did that – obviously you mentioned the result wasn't exactly what you guys wanted, but did that team gel the way you initiated it? When you were putting it together in your mind, did that team end up gelling in February, March, like you imagined?
Yes. In fact, some of it sooner. I mean, when Eve came in, at first, his high school coach thought he would have to redshirt. So he really progressed a lot faster from redshirting to a first rounder. That's pretty good progression. Yeah. But again, when you bring in a team, you always hope for the best. And life is short. You want to enjoy who you're with. And the guys really gave us all they had. And really were fun to show up and coach every day. And it was really a good team. The only, like I said, downside is we obviously wish we had gone a little further. But every team does that at the end of the year as well. It's really important with today's climate where there's so many people leaving with the portal, and then you got NBA. Like, you try to bring in a group that it's probably 1 year, and then you might lose half of them. So you're hoping for the best case, but there's a lot of times you can put together a group, and normally it takes 2, 3, 4 years to bond and get chemistry. And we're just trying to cliff notes it and fast track it. And again, I think our staff did a great job with last year's team. And this year, we're really excited about the opportunities we have ahead of us, and trying to always mix that blend of good young players, but enough upperclassmen that you have the experience necessary. Because again, with the portal, a lot of teams you face, they might not even have a freshman on the roster or a sophomore, and it might be 4th or 5th year people. And this is the last year of COVID, so most teams have a lot of fifth year players on them.
Yeah. In general, you've now had a top 10 offense on KenPom the last 4 years. Is that a product of the transfer portal and the NBA talent that you've had? Or
no, that's coaching. That's definitely. Hey, if it's good, it's coaching. No. In all seriousness, it's because we've had really good players that are really talented, but they put the team over themselves. Because one of the hardest ways to score in college is isolation and one-on-one ISO basketball, and the fact that our guys have continued to not only be talented, but play as a team and make the one more pass, and the good, better, best mentality has allowed us to be successful offensively. So they deserve all the credit for that.
Has there been any change in approach over the past 5 years in terms of anything, or has it really just, you've been able to run what you've wanted to with the talent that you've been able to add?
Well, I think I always say there's a million ways to get to 4, and it's not a million, but 2 + 2 = 4, 3 + 1, 5 - 1 = 4. And with us, we've adapted our offense to our personnel. Like, it's not a cookie cutter approach where we're bringing in this type of point guard, we're bringing in this type of 2, this type of 3, 4, and 5, and we're running this offense regardless. It's for teachers out there, it's kind of like one year you're teaching algebra, the next year it's biology, and really just fitting what talents and abilities our players bring into an offense that can showcase that. For instance, Ray J. Dennis was probably one of the top 2 or 3 post-up point guards I've ever coached. So obviously we put in different things that could showcase that. And this year we'll have a lot of players that bring different talents to the table than last year. So we'll adjust what we do because of that.
Looking at a little bit about the guy you brought in this year, or at least one of them in Jeremy Roach. Past couple of years, you've been really adamant. Focused on bringing in an experience at the point guard position. What does that add when you maybe looking at last year with Jacoby Walter and Eves, looking at this year with VJ coming in, you add these young pieces surrounding them, but you have at the point guard position, at the captain of the floor, you have that experience. Is that something where you go into the offseason and say, we want to add a senior or a junior, somebody who's done it for multiple years at this particular position? Or is it just situational where it's like, oh, let's see what's out there, let's see who's interested, and then we go get them, or as needed?
Well, great question. And you try to have a game plan, and you try to have a good blend. And again, this is the last year with the COVID year. But a lot of teams you're facing have 22, 23-year-old, 24-year-olds on the court. And it's like the NBA. 5 rookies aren't winning the NBA championship next year.
Sure.
So you have to have a good blend of young and old, and especially until this year with the COVID year ending, you have to have a lean on people that have had playing experiences. I mean, there's college teams that are older than G League teams. And I saw, what was it? One of the teams was older than Kansas, or older than OKC, the average age last year. And you have to have somebody. I tell our freshmen, is a 13-year-old beating you? And the answer is no. So, but that's what you have. 13 to 18 is very similar to 18 to 23. Now the gap is shrunk because people mature at those older ages, but still that experience is critical, especially now until the COVID year is past. And I feel bad for some of the high school players because their process has been slowed down because people have chosen to stay in school. But again, after this year, everything will get back to normal.
Yeah. Looking at this year's team, and obviously the talent that you brought in is exciting, but the returners that you have also are expected to play a significant role. Starting with Jaden Nunn, Langston Love, Josh Ojenwuna. Once again, just how do you assess those 3 and what they need to do this year to obviously have an impact on those teams?
Well, one of the toughest things is to have continuity in today's day and age, but that continuity and that experience of somebody that you coach, that knows your system, that knows what to expect, is so critical to pass on that wisdom to everybody else. And I mean, let's face it, like you and Ish, your first show compared to now, you're a lot more cohesive, right? You know each other. You're better at what you do. It's the same thing with players. They play together 2, 3, 4 years. They just have better chemistry. They know each other's strengths, weaknesses. They know how to motivate each other, feed off each other. They just know the ropes, and that's why your returning players are always so critical. And with us, Langston, knock on wood, we get him healthy all year because he's had a tough string of injuries that he's done a great job overcoming and persevering. He's really a tough young man and a hard worker, and hopefully he stays injury free this year because we're better coaches and better team when he's on the court. Jaden Nunn is somebody that really had some games where he was dominant, and now it's just hopefully getting him from one year to the next, and his last year just more consistent with the high moments, because his high moments were tremendous. Not a lot of low moments, but just when he was rolling,
Yeah.
He's an all conference player, and you just want more of what he's capable of doing. And same with Josh. You did a great job pronouncing his last name, Matthew. Hats off to you. But again, Josh, 3 years into our strength and conditioning program in our offense and defensive scheme. So hopefully he's able to take another step forward and be a leader there.
I know Fran Fraschilla just gives him nicknames and stuff, so I try to pronounce it right.
Fran's the best with all that.
Yeah, he
Oh
is.
yeah,
He is.
100%. It'd be negligent of me for me to not ask about VJ Edgecombe coming in. I mean, I was funny during the Olympic qualifying. I was just keeping track of your Twitter account because you were just updating us as much as anybody with retweets about what he was doing. But what was it like for you to see him with the Bahamas national team with Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, DeAndre Ayton, and they're looking to him to be the leading scorer of that team in that environment?
Well, I think first and foremost, so much respect for Buddy Hield. Coming from the Big 12, and we recruited him and knew him, competed against him, and just love his work ethic and love what he's about. And he's kind of been a big brother to VJ. As far as I think everybody can relate to, whenever their kids do well in something, you love to be excited and proud of them. And obviously, VJ's a part of our family, and seeing him compete against Olympians and people that are not only in the NBA but thriving in the NBA, that was really exciting. I thought you really saw maturation in VJ's game too, because in the first couple games, it looked like everybody on the team kind of pressed and did a little more by themselves. And then as they got into more meaningful games, really played great team basketball. And VJ really showed maturity at a young age for not forcing things and not putting himself in harm's way, because sometimes young players, anybody can, but especially young players, tend to try to do too much, which leads to turnovers, which leads to easy buckets on the other end. And VJ just took what was given to him and made really simple plays. And normally the older, more experienced players do that. They just make simple plays. They hit singles and doubles. And because of that, VJ had such a successful debut with the Bahamas team in those qualifying games. And almost, pretty hard task to beat Spain in Spain, but almost pulled that off.
Yeah. I could spend a lot of time on VJ Edgecombe. I mean, he's an awesome player, and obviously you have other talented freshmen in this class as well. But I do want to ask about the transfers. You already talked about Jeremy Roach coming in, but Norshad Omir, Jalen Celestine, two other guys who project to be important players for y'all. What was it like recruiting them and getting them over there? And obviously, how did they fit into what you want to do this year?
Well, a lot of respect for Jeremy to begin with, because they beat us last year, and he was a big reason why. And I've seen him play and see what he's done in college basketball for several years. And since he's been here, he's shown great leadership, and he's done a great job with Rob Wright, our freshman point guard from Mount Vernon. It's great seeing his leadership and just how your experience when you're in your fifth year, and just how but sometimes people, the older they get, more focus on themselves. But he's got a Coach K, and Coach Shire did a great job in developing him into a great leader. And then Norchad is somebody that's a walking double-double. I think when he was born, he averaged 12 and 10. So last year, 18 and 10 in the ACC. Both of them have been to a Final Four. Both of them are grown men. But again, with Norchad, very similar. Great leadership, great teammate, great work ethic. So really just a blessing and joy to coach. And Jalen, he graduated from Cal Berkeley in 4 years. He's somebody that's a no-nonsense guy that takes care of business. Great high character and personality, and somebody who really can shoot it. Somebody that coming off an ACL injury, normally you're back in a year, but you're really not back until year 2 and 3. And so I think with his skill set and his athleticism, people see even more what he's capable of doing. And another freshman, Jason Asamoto, Jalen's done a great job helping him out, as nor Chad have. So it's great seeing the upperclassmen help out the younger classmen.
Of course, this past offseason was filled with a lot of news and a lot of buzz and things like that for you. But you're still in Waco, and you're still at Baylor.
Hey, got a great view right now too. I
Yeah.
don't want to mess this up, but that's a heck of a view every day, right there. That's a heck of a
It's hard to
view.
believe that. Well, that goes to what I was about to ask is, what's kept you there? Obviously, family plays a big part for you. How that all unfolded, but personally, what's kept you there at Waco and at Baylor?
Well, first and foremost, I came to Baylor University because I thought God called me here, and that's where I put on my heart to be. So I've been here, and until He tells me to go somewhere else, because at the end of the day, I want to be in His will first and foremost. Second of all, He's really blessed me since I've been here with our family. All 3 of my children have been born here, and we just have great people here, and love what Baylor stands for. Preparing champions for life. It's athletic, but it's also spiritual and character formation and academic. And just you see each and every year our veterans and our past players come back, and love those guys for coming back and pouring their wisdom and knowledge into our young players, and seeing them be successful fathers and husbands. And a lot of them have now retired from basketball and are in the working profession, and they're great leaders in their communities and neighborhoods, and just really proud of all them. But I think that would be the answer for that, and just couldn't be more blessed to have great people to work with each and every day. I mean, it's kind of like you and Matt. I mean, you got great chemistry, and you enjoy working with each other, so it makes it easy.
Yeah. And with you back, the Big 12 gets even harder, I'd say. You add Arizona, Colorado, Arizona State, Utah to the mix. Does that make you more excited for conference play?
Yeah.
How do you approach the new Big 12 now?
Well, every player wants to play in big games. They want to play the best competition. The Big 12 in the last 9 out of 11 years has been the best conference analytically, and it just gets tougher with adding those teams. Great programs, great coaches, and really hard places to play for different challenges they provide. So as a competitor, you always want to get better, and you want to go against the best, because that makes you better. So it's really that's in recruiting. Players normally want the toughest challenge and want to push themselves to see just how good they can be, and you get that in the Big 12.
I am curious. Oh, sorry. Last thing from me, Ish. You were able to add Bill Armstrong and Steve Henson to your coaching staff. 2 guys that we know and respect. I know Bill Armstrong from when he was at LSU. Steve Henson, obviously UTSA. What has it been like adding them, and then also just generally the coaching staff turnover that you've had the past couple years? What has it been like for you?
We've had this past year more turnover than we've had, and that's a testament to the program doing well, and those guys getting opportunities to continue to grow and run their own programs and do their own thing. And again, with us, iron sharpens iron. So all the past coaches, we still all communicate, stay in touch, help one another, learn from one another. And I'm really blessed for that opportunity. At the same time, Bill Armstrong won a championship at Link Year, and coached Jacoby Walter and helped make him into the man and player he is. And Bill does a tremendous job, and very hard worker, very humble. Really excited to have him on staff. And then Steve Henson, someone we competed against a long time at OU, and someone that UTSA did a great job. And he's coached in the NBA, played in the NBA. But again, really hardworking, a basketball guy, somebody that really helped our players. And then Melvin Hunt also joined our staff, and Melvin played at Baylor '87. is when he got here. So he doesn't like that because it makes him seem a little old. But after that, went to the NBA. But anybody that's coached LeBron and coached Kobe, Trae Young, was a head coach at with the Denver Nuggets for a minute, and been with the Mavs. So a great deal of experience. Great godly man that loves Baylor, and his daughter did wonders for our volleyball team here, and went to the Final Four, and she's still in town working at a church. And the grandbabies went out, so he wanted to be close to the grandkids, so we got him back.
It's a good sales pitch.
I was gonna say my last question is just what's your go-to at Mi Casita?
Ah! Well, I got a couple, but the Mexican salad's pretty good when I try to eat healthy. So
There we go.
Good. Well, Coach, we'll get you out of here. I don't see any grays in your hair on like this.
That's because I'm clean shaven and I'm losing them, man.
But we appreciate you joining us again, Coach. Best of luck this year. Always great talking to you.
Hey, appreciate you too. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Coach. Thank you.